What's up YouTube, it's Steve. I'm back with another video. I'm outside, but again, this is not a cooking video, this is an unboxing video, so stick around. So as I shared some time back, any video streaming that I do is usually done on my PlayStation 3 or 4, or it's on my iPhone or iPad or on my computer. Up until recently, I wasn't really too interested in getting a streaming box, and what led me to actually do it is because some of the shows or channels or apps that I want to use to watch things on are not listed in my smart TV. They're not available on my PlayStation. I can get to them on my computer, but sometimes I just like to be able to use a particular device. Plus, I just wanted one anyway. So with all of that being said, today's video is on the Apple TV 4th generation. Let's check it out. Alright guys, so here is the Apple TV. This is the 4th generation model, and as you can see, I've got it sitting here in between, on the right hand side, surround sound player, and on the left side my PS4. Now with that being said, this is not going to be a traditional unboxing where you sit down and go over all of the specs and everything like that. There's several channels and really great videos out there that do that, but that's not the purpose of this video. There's specific things that I want to cover, and so I'm just going to get to those. With that being said, I will show you what came in the box with this particular one. Alright, so I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, but this particular model is the 1080p model. Whether you get the 4K or 1080p, they both are going to come with the same things on the inside. First, you have the new redesigned remote, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on. But really quick, what you have with it are your menu button, your home button, and this is also used to turn the Apple TV off. Right here is your Siri button, play, pause, and then volume up and down. And that volume up and down does have a really neat feature. It can actually control the volume on your TV, on the TV that your Apple TV box is connected to. And like I said, I'll get to that a little bit later on. Also in the box you have a lightning cable, and this is to connect your remote, your Apple TV remote, to your computer to charge it. And speaking of charging, one of the things that I have observed is I've had this Apple TV now at this point probably about a month from the time I filmed the actual intro, and I've only charged that once, and even then it wasn't really low. It was like at 71%, and I just charged it just to go ahead and give it a full charge so I can see how long the battery in it actually lasts. In addition to that, you've got your quick start guide, your Apple stickers, and then some warranty information, and that is pretty much it. Alright, so there's several things that I wanted to address, as I stated, and I kind of have a little sheet here of things that I've been observing since the time that I bought this. I just want to talk over some general info really quick, and then the areas that I'm going to address are Siri, adding and deleting apps from your Apple TV, listening to music, and using screensavers. I'm going to do both of those together, managing your storage, and then finally I'm going to talk about the Apple TV remote. So let's talk first about just the general information. Like I stated, you have the 1080p version and the 4K version. I chose 1080p because I don't have any 4K TVs, and it really wouldn't make sense to get a 4K Apple TV and hook it up to a 1080p TV. So there's my choice there. And whether you get 4K or 1080p, it comes in 32 and 64 gig configurations. I chose 32 gig because apps for the Apple TV are not that large. Some of the data that they use may end up eating up a lot of your space and things like that, but or if you have an overabundance of apps, that may eat up a lot of space. But I felt like 32 gig, at least for me, was more than enough storage. Also with the setup, this has a feature where you can, in the setup process, you can set it up by using your iPhone. And all I did at the time of setting it up was simply hold my iPhone close to the Apple TV, and it registered it. Now the thing with that is it does not set up your Apple TV as far as loading all of the compatible apps that you have on your phone and things like that. The only thing it does is it loads your Wi-Fi information, so you don't have to go through and manually set that up. Other than that, as far as apps, I still had to go and find apps that I wanted to use and download them myself. So with that, that covers pretty much the general information that I want to cover about the Apple TV. The first major area that I want to discuss is Siri. Now, if you watched my Apple Watch Series 3 video that I did a couple weeks ago, I addressed Siri regarding it. And the problem that I'm finding with Siri is whether you have an iPhone, an Apple Watch, iPad, Apple TV, whatever, the experience that you have with Siri is going to vary across all devices. My personal opinion, Siri is probably the best version of Siri that you will find is on the iPhone. As far as using it on my MacBook Pro or my iMac, I really don't use it enough to give you an opinion one way or the other on it. But as far as using it on the Apple Watch and Apple TV, it's hit or miss. Of course, it'll do general things. It can launch certain apps. All right, so when you turn the Apple TV on and you've got it set up, this is the screen that you're going to run into, and this top row here is your dock and all that. But like I said, we were trying to demonstrate Siri, and the way you use Siri is on the remote here, this microphone button. You simply press and hold it, and the way you come out of any app is you press the menu button. You just press it until you come back here. So we're going to try that again. So I'm just going to press and hold. Launch YouTube. So now I'm going to show you, we'll see something about the weather. What's the weather forecast for today? And you get a nice listing down here, but it doesn't speak that information back to you. All right, so the second major area that I wanted to talk about with the Apple TV is adding and deleting apps. When you purchase the Apple TV, there are very few apps installed. The main ones that you want to use, you're probably going to have to go out, search for them, and download them yourself. Out of the box, it comes with the Settings app, of course. You're going to need that. It also comes with podcasts, so you can sync your podcast from your computer, your iPhone or iPad. It comes with the TV app, your app store, computers, search, music, iTunes TV shows, and iTunes movies, and also the photos. Other than that, everything else you're going to have to search for and download. Now, in order to add apps, what you're going to do is you're going to go over to your app store. All right, once you go into your app store, you're going to click on continue, and this is your app store. You just simply come over to search. Of course, these are some of the major apps right here, and you just go to whichever one that you want. If the one that you want is not listed, then you can go right up there and search, or you can use Siri to search. Coming back to the home screen, these are all of the apps that I have that I've downloaded. Now, in order to delete any of these apps, you can do this. You can do this one of two ways. In order to delete an app, you can go into Settings, you can go under General, and then you just scroll all the way down to Manage Storage, and so you see here a listing of all of the apps that you have. And if you find one that say you want to delete it, say for instance I wanted to delete this Alliance Air War app, I would simply press that trash can button and it would delete. Now, another way you can do that without going into all of this, we go right down to that same app here. There it is. And this is a problem too. Using this trackpad, it is extremely finicky. If I want to delete this without going into the menu, I'd simply long press on the button here, and you see how it's shaking, just how apps shake on your iPhone. And this brings up, it's telling you press play pause button. So you would press that, and now it asks you, do you want to delete it, put it in a new folder, or you can cancel. So that's the two ways that you can you can delete apps. And of course, since we didn't want to do anything with that, in order to cancel it, you just simply press that button, press the trackpad. This third feature, which I thought would really be cool, is listening to music on your Apple TV. Now, I'm not going to demo that because it's really labor intensive and it really doesn't work the way I thought or expected it to. My understanding, to me, I'm thinking as long as the Apple TV and your MacBook Pro or iMac or your computer is on the same Wi-Fi network and Bluetooth is on and sharing is enabled, then you should be able to stream your music without your computer being on. Unfortunately, that's not the case. When I set this up and tried it, if I turned my computer off, my entire music library disappeared from the Apple TV. As long as I had the Apple TV, or as long as I had my computer on, I was able to play the music. And this included even when my computer would go to sleep. I don't mean just turning the computer off. I mean, if you put your computer to sleep, my entire library just disappeared from being viewed on here. So I'm not sure if there's an easier way to do it in which your library stays on the Apple TV. That would make more sense. And there's a way you can do that using a screensaver. Right now, I have an app here called Magic Fireplace, and it gives you a boatload of fireplaces to use. And it would be nice to have, music playing to that. You can do that again as long as all of these devices are in the same Wi-Fi network and Bluetooth is enabled and your computer is on. So you can have a little bit of music playing in the background. If you guys have any comments on that, if you have any ways to correct that, if I'm not doing something right, feel free to share that information down in the comment section below, because I don't know everything about this device. I am sharing what I have discovered, but I don't know every single thing about it. One thing I do know, moving on, the fourth item that I wanted to address on here is storage, managing storage. Now, we saw a little bit of that here. If you go into settings, general, and you scroll all the way down, you have a submenu here called managing storage. The only thing this does is it shows you the apps that you currently have installed, and it gives you the option to delete them. Now, my question is, why isn't there a feature on here that shows you how much available storage that you have left? Because right now, the only thing you can do is add up the size of each one of these apps, add them all together, and that still doesn't give you an accurate amount because you have the operating system on here. So I thought maybe I was missing something, and I called Apple to ask about this, and I was told that that was something that they had never even considered. That's something that nobody had ever asked them as far as purchasing a device. And to me, it just makes sense. If you're managing a device, it's just like having a phone or a computer. You have X amount of storage, and you want to manage that to the best of your ability. So what I did is I did a little searching around, and I found this free app called Disk Space. You download this, and when you go into it, this actually tells you how much of total space you have in the upper right hand corner. This is, like I said, a 32 gig Apple TV, so there was 29.8 available to use after the operating system. Right now I have 10.8 gigs used, and I have another 18 gigs free. That's all the information that I need, and that's information that would be extremely helpful to the user. So if this is something that you might be interested in, and I'm not sure why you wouldn't be, this is something that you can download. And again, this is all it tells you. It does nothing else. Even over here in the right hand corner where you see the options button, when you click on that, it shows you these options here. Now, There is a free version and there is a paid version. I downloaded free simply because I don't need this this other information on here. I mean, there are some nice color themes. What you get in the free mode is, or the free version is this classic mode, red and blue. You get these other colors, and you can see the colors of them. So if you want to pay 99 cents per, you can do that. Like I said, I'm good with just the standard. But that, it just kind of blew my mind that that was something that Apple has not even considered. So as you can see in all of the areas that we looked at, the Apple TV has a lot of good things going for it. And the last thing that we want to talk about is the Apple TV remote. And while this is a good thing, there is a feature, there's a couple of just, I guess, kind of preference things that kind of rub me the wrong way. I don't really care for using it. One, this thing is extremely sensitive. As you saw when I was searching, you can try and swipe left or right and it moves up and down. You try and go up and down, it doesn't do anything. It's extremely finicky. It also seems to think that you only want to watch it. And I guess, well, saying that now, thinking about it, it does kind of make sense. I have the Apple TV connected to my smart TV. If I press the menu button, and that's actually how you turn the Apple TV on, no matter what channel or device my TV was hooked up to or using, it will automatically switch on the Apple TV. And initially I listed that as a negative, but like I said, the more I think about it, it does make sense because this is in Apple TV. Those are the two things that just kind of irritated me a little bit, but let's talk about some of the positives for it. Using this Apple TV remote, again, if you have a smart TV and you've got your Apple TV hooked up to it, the Apple TV will control both the Apple TV device and your smart TV. So I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. All right, so this is the Apple TV. It's on, and I'm getting ready to shut it off. And like I told you, this will control both the Apple TV and the TV itself. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to long press that home button. Just long press it, and you see it brings up a menu. It brings up this menu asking if you want to put it to sleep. And it also tells you this will also turn off any connected devices. Well, the only other connected device that we have is the TV. So what we do to turn it off is simply press this button, and you see the TV, the Apple TV device goes off, the indicator light has gone off, and on the left-hand side, the indicator light for my TV has gone off. Now to turn both of them on, again, I just simply press this. See the Apple TV light and the TV indicator light, both of them have cut on, and the TV's back on. So I think that that's a great feature for it. In addition to this, you got a couple of ways you can use this remote. You can use this, but like I said, I just think it's a little, at times, a little too slick and a little too finicky to use. So what I do, if you don't want to use this, one of the things that you can do is you can use your iOS device. I can't use my iPhone because I'm actually recording this on it, but on my iPad here, if you swipe up, you can see that there's a button here for the Apple TV. You press the Apple TV, it brings up the remote, and you see it's found the TV. Now it's connecting. Now if I want to use this to search for something, come out of this. So if I want to search for something, you can see I'm controlling it just by swiping here. We can do a search, and so it brings up this little keyboard here, and I can just type in press go, and there's our result. So I searched for my channel and it found it. Now to come out of that And to come all the way back to the menu, we just press it until we come back here. If you've seen my video where I described how to control a PS4 or other smart media enabled device using your smart TV remote, you'll see the ways in which I'm able to control it using just my Vizio remote. By the same token, that same feature is enabled with the Apple TV. This is my primary remote for controlling the Apple TV. So if I want to get off this, and this is just a wallpaper that comes up, if I want to get off of that, I simply press power. It takes me back to the home screen. I have full ability to search. Let's just go into one of these. I want to access YouTube. There we go. If I want to go to my page on YouTube, I can do that. And then if I want to come out again, if I want, just press the exit button until I come all the way back to this main screen. So with that being said, this has been my review of the Apple TV 4th generation. If you guys have any questions or comments, drop that down in the comment section below and I'll be sure to get back with you. Please do remember to hit that like button. Click the notification bell so that every time I upload videos, you will be notified. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing, as it really does help the channel out. And don't be afraid to share this with other people. Again, I just hope you guys have enjoyed it and have gotten something out of it. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.